TvGrace presents the inexpressible words of God, the gospel of grace, on the lips of Jesus Christ man. Abba, Father.
Well, let's go to the mystery. Today there is science. Let's go. Today there is science for you. Let's talk how you can become a good mother, how to become a good father, how to become a good businessman, how to be good in everything through the gospel, without a scolding, without prohibition. Let's look at it there. This mystery was kept hidden for thousands of years. That's why the world is as it is. Romans chapter 2, verse 2. And do not conform to Miami. Do not conform to this world. Do not conform to the education of universities, of psychologists, counselors. Don't conform. What does it mean to conform? To take shape. Don't take shape with this type of counsel, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind. For what? So that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. It says here, look, when you take a young man and tell him, you need to transform your life. And he says, well, yes, Mom, how do I do it? Well, you can't walk around with so-and-so and do this, and they give you 1,000 scoldings. Well, it says here the same thing your mother tells you, transform your life. But it says that it is through a knowledge, not scolding nor prohibitions. It says transform, to enter into a metamorphosis. It says that a worm, when it's transformed, it converts to a butterfly. True? So sometimes we play a role of a worm. Sometimes we crawl like worms. When a vice dominates us, when we do things out of order, they dominate us. And the fear is that someone is coming to scold us. Somebody's going to come to tell you, man, when are you going to change? Or it's your father or your mother or an uncle, someone that is watching you and is going to scold at you. But it's time to stop scolding. Let's do what God says to do. God says, be transformed. The question is how? Through the renewal of your understanding. When you go to one of those churches out there that say, listen, Pastor, I have problems like this, like that, with my husband, with my wife, with everyone, I have problems. What should I do? Well, young man, on Sunday, we have a chain of prayer and fasting. For 4 hours, we're going to be knelt here, and we're going to rebuke every spirit there is. For what? Well, so you can transform that situation. And when you go to the priest tells you you have to confess and you have to pray so many Hail Marys and you can't eat meat so-and-so day, and you have to do a novena or a rosary to St. Jude. It says here that it isn't that way, that it is through the renewing of your mind. The other tells you that it's celebrating certain things. Others tells you have to pay a certain offering and dress in a sack. I don't know. People have many methods to transform themselves, except this one that is here, because this one was never preached. It was left for me. Hello. It is to say that anything you have going on in your life that you think right now, is there something that you need to transform in your life? Huh? What's going on in your life? Bad attitude, a situation, loneliness, separation. Something happened. Something must be bothering you. For an example, let me see what's bothering me. Well, and how am I going to change it? I go to the mind here. I put a little bit of this in there. And somewhere it has to be here. Touch here. Here is the fountain. Here. From here I am going to get healing. From here. From here I am going to be healthy from head to toe. Nothing hurts me. Hello. From here, I'm going to be a good mom. You know the young ladies that I know that trembled because, that my mother was so perfect. She accomplished this. She was such a great cook. She was such a good mother. She educated us. My mother, well, what a mom. I could never be as she was. And why not? Look, if you want to be a good mother, when you have a child, or if you have children, give them the knowledge of the word so that he has what he needs to transform his mind. And when you grow up and become a mother, to be a mother is simple. It is to show the gospel, and the word took my son and transformed him. Because the problem is there are many counselors out there. No, to be a good mom, and you go to so-and-so channel and to that channel. Everyone has different counsel. Because the world is full of various opinions according to traditions, government, politics, countries. So everyone, they get their PhD. This is so-and-so, doctor this. They all fail. And then when they reach their latter days, they begin to complain. They begin to say, I was never happy. I should have done this, that, and I didn't do it. It's too late. I am sure that if you transform yourself with the knowledge of the gospel, you will never complain. And your children, your family members are going to be people that are constructive people that are always going to be well. Nothing will lack. They're always going to be saying something positive. You want to be a good dad? Empower yourself with the gospel. Don't call your son whatever and yell at him and slap the table and you think they're going to obey you. Use the gospel. Say, bless, I am your father, and I warn you, you are a perfect angel, and get a handle on what Christ did for you and act like a man without being disrespectful. You want to be a good pastor? Do the same. Learn this word and teach it. To be a good shepherd, it isn't to be shaking people's hand and drinking coffee with them and listening to all of their problems. It is to teach them the counsel of the Word of God. That's a good shepherd. I, as a person, my realization as a person is that at home, before I come here, I ask, what am I going to speak with the beloved? To see if my opinion is involved. Because if Jose Luis is involved, I am not doing a good work. I have to make sure that what I say, it's in line with what's written in this book, which is what has not taken place for 2,000 years. Why? When they tell you, invite you to church, you say, where? Because you think to go to church is bad. Don't you see that for 2,000 years, all they've done is scold at you and people shake? If I go to the airport with a book like this, no one draws near. They see this, imagine, in an airplane in first class. When they see that black book, they travel. I'm here and they're looking out the window. because people are prejudiced. Don't you see that these big head religious Roman Catholics have ruined the reputation of this book? One day I was traveling and there was a man beside me, but I had to read the word at that moment because I was receiving the message on my flight. So then I was seated and he was to my right. And I begun to read the word, and he was desiring to tell me something. And finally he says, listen, do you enjoy what you are reading? And I said, if I enjoy this, this is my life. This is relatively my life, my profession. So then he thought about it 1,000 times, and just as we were arriving, he says, I am a pastor. That he was afraid, they're ashamed. But it's that they themselves are afraid of this. Don't you see that the world has ruined this book? They think that this is an evil book. This is the best book. Imagine that there it tells you how to transform your whole life through a knowledge. With knowledge only? Is it that easy, Apostle? Simply by knowledge? And you're transformed? By knowledge, you're going to dominate all aspects of your life. Naturally, that has a time and an exercise. Let's look at it. Second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 13. But having the same spirit of faith, according to what I imagine, to what is written. Professor told me, or what my zodiac sign tells me. If you are led by that. According to what is written, I believed, and therefore I spoke. That is the recipe. You look for what is written. You put it in your mind, you believe it, and you speak it. And what are you going to speak? You're going to speak what the gospel says that you are a perfect angel, that you are a treasure in a vessel of clay. You teach that to your children like that. My child, you are a treasure. The only thing that you have an earthen vessel, and that's why you get toothaches and pains, but you are a treasure. You put that in a child from a young age, they are the super race. They are the super race. How many have raised their children with this knowledge? Yes? Wow, there are many. Look at that precious family that's there. All have grown in the gospel. And what they know is gospel. They don't know that of fear, of devil, of things that arrive at night. They aren't into none of that. Because you have to go according to what is written. And when you get in according to what's written and you speak it, but you have to speak it. Listen, everything I've spoken until now, believing has come to pass. And sometimes I don't notice because I speak it, I go to bed, I fall asleep, I awake, and many months go by, and I don't see anything nor feel anything, and sometimes it worsens. Because it's tested. What you confess is tested. And it's proven well tested. But when suddenly, when you least expect it, that seed begins to work. As a matter of fact, I've confessed healing that I've forgotten about. And then time passes and I says, wow, I've never gone through that again. Right? How many are healed here? Look how many hands. It is wonderful to be healed. It is good to digest, right? and you feel good and you wake up with great energy to function and work. That is the most precious thing in this world. How do you feel today? Listen, for me to come here, you know how I felt, what I have for my beloved today. That I'm going to take them out of prohibitions. I'm going to take away guilt that I've done this wrong, that I did that I've tried, that I can't, that I've promised, and I can't. Certainly, you can't. Who said you can? It is a knowledge that you're going to put within yourself, and you have to give yourself time to manifest the change. You can't say, I am an alcoholic. That's a lie. You're not an alcoholic. You are a perfect angel. You can't say, I am a drug addict. No, you are a perfect angel that's blessed. I am sick of. How are you going to say that you have this condition? That's not written. I have this sickness. I am officially declared by physicians hopeless. And you believed it? Apostle, I believed it so much that I say it everywhere that I am hopeless. Well, it's manifesting itself very well. What else have you confessed? How else do you punish yourself? What else have you confessed? What did the doctor say? What did your grandfather say, your mother? That you're always going to be, that you can't memorize, right? You are so bad memorizing. How many are terrible memorizing verses here? And you memorize nothing. And you don't know the books. You don't know how to say the books by memory. You don't know how to say Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrew. You shouldn't pass. And the 39 books of the Old Covenant. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 King, 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Listen. When the Lord brought me to his ways, look how my mind was. I used to read one verse like this. I used to read a story in the book of Matthew, and when I was on the second verse, I had to return to the first because I had forgotten what I had read. I couldn't read 5 verses in the Bible and remember what I was reading, of how deteriorated my mind was. I couldn't memorize nothing, but nothing. It was something. And then I used to say, man, I have such a bad memory. Imagine in saying it. That's what many have said that here. Man, every time the apostle, oh my God, memorizing, I am no good for nothing. And the angel hearing you says, what else have you said? That you are the worst in the kitchen? Have you said that you are a bad cook? That you don't know how to make coffee? What else have you said? That you are a bad housewife and you've said that and believe it? What else have you said? That you are sucking on a hot wire? That you don't have finances, that everything is going wrong, that you are not able to travel to your country, that you can't get your citizenship? Listen, at home, sometimes something slips and I annul. Don't you see that I have an angelic covering that are consistently hearing me? imagine to hear me speak negatively. And sometimes some things slip, but quickly, hello. I annul that. Let's stand. Tell he that's beside you, I am healthy. I will be better. I am fine and I am getting better. I reign in life. I am rejuvenating. I do not know what is going on with me, but I look younger. I don't have wrinkles. The wrinkles are disappearing. Everything is well. Hello. You have to confess. You know, this is the way I do it. Time is a rudiment. How many have the key of what we are talking about tonight? It isn't through sacrifices or for how smart you are or cunning. It's that you're going to be transformed. Say, I am transforming myself through the gospel, from the knowledge of God. That I shout it, that I speak it, I believe it, I confess it. Everything I want will be given to me. I am getting better every day. Things are going very well because I speak well. I live by what I speak. What comes out of my mouth, the angels listen to it and give it to me. Hello.